It's another episode of that little black midget in my workshop. Project's drawing to a close. Enjoy this one. Please check you're subscribed. If you think you are, check. If you're not, why not? Please subscribe. Hit the old thumbs up, thumbs down, the dingly bell thing. Click all those things down below. Helps the video. If you fancy contacting me, then it's churchhouseclassics, and that's all one word, @gmail.com. But if you fancy supporting the channel, I very much appreciate that, then there's a PayPal me link scrolling down here. Enjoy the feature. So this is the cut-off switch that I removed just beside the heater unit, and you'll note that it's got lots of staining and so forth around it. These pipes are also incredibly knackered. I had two clips down here where the hose went on there, and you can kind of see why. It's not really going to work, is it? And also this switch is seized solid. So what we're going to do here is take it apart. The reason we're going to take it apart is because this section here is prone to rotting out and actually is separate from that section there. So let's see if we can't get it apart. If we can, whether we can retrieve it or not and get it working again. Now this switch here is it's a winter-summer switch. You used to get it on old cars. You don't get it on modern cars. No. But on older cars you would have had a winter or summer setting because you obviously don't want any hot water in the heater during the summer. Now this should come off here. It might be a bit... Oh, that must come. So that one's gone off. What I should probably do before I rip it all apart is just take a picture of the orientation of the plate and the various angled sections, so that will probably do it, and just so I get the idea of which way round it goes and which way it bends. Excuse me. Is that going to go in there? Sort of. Right, chat. What we might have to do here is give it a thump. Let's get some penetrating fluid on it first. It's very clean. Probably replace these screws with a with a nut and bolt when it all goes back together again. Oh, Jury. What have we got in here? Got any decent sized ones? Yes, we have. If at first you don't succeed, then cheat. No. I think worst case on this was I would have probably just dremeled the nut off. But that's that. That can come off there. That can then come off here, and this is the bit I need. So get a new one of those. Then we've got the gaskets. And this knackered hose here. There's actually nothing inside there. Or is there? I might need to. Let's get this clip off as well. Now, this clip is ancient, and there's no way is it undoing. So there's two ways to get these off. There's violence, and there's less violence. So violence first is literally to clamp it in the vise and twist each direction. No, that's not going to work because it's too solid still. What often happens is you actually break the clip that's underneath there, and the thing starts to fall apart. Now, having done that, guys, it's all kicking off today, isn't it? Alright, that's not going to work. So next, we take an angle grinder, we run the angle grinder just along that line there. I'm going to go and do that. And now, having run a cut down that joint there, screwdriver in there, lever up, and there we go. One dead Jubilee clip is removed, pipe can come off. That can then go in the scrap bin because it's metal. Boing. Now, what's going on in here? I've got a feeling this is going to be seized up solid. Looks like it should turn this way. It might be just a bit too gone, this. I don't want to knacker it, because at the moment it's in the on position, which is going to be, to be honest, going to be most of what we're going to need in the UK. Very rare that we find ourselves in the luxurious position of not needing a heater in a car. This is Englandshire after all. Oh dear, right, okay. So one of these, now I just looked at Moss Europe, and they sell these for about 26 quid. If I was so inclined, I could probably remake up this piece, because I got the base plate there, but I'm not going to do it that sort of money. It cost me more in time to remanufacture than it would just to buy another one. Now, it could be that the one I buy is a bag of shite, in which case we could end up going down the original route. I don't know. We'll see. Now, there's the other nut. It's in there. So those bits can go back on there. So I know where they are. Is this going to work? Might need to pop a bit of heat in it. The problem I've got really with it is that if it is seized up and the system is now going to go up to pressure, because obviously we've worked out why it wasn't running at pressure, if we're going to go up to pressure, are we now going to create a problem whereby this is going to start leaking? Because you can see there's quite a lot of evidence that it's been leaking. Let's get this old gasket off. I think there's about 3 old gaskets on there. There's a fair few. Right, that's the lion's share of the gasket. It's brass. Oh, look, there's a screw in the end there. So we can get that undone. If it's got fixings, then someone has designed it to come apart, I reckon. Get the rest of this gasket off here. Let's check there's no other fixings on here. No, just that one. Right. A small screwdriver. Does it undo? It fucking does. Little grub screw. I reckon that if that... Where's my torch? There. It's quite silted up. I'm not sure this is ever going to move. Right, cleaned up all the threads on this frame. I'm going to give it a de-rust, degrease, de-rust, paint, put it back in. Need to do quite a lot of de-rusting and degreasing around the front end. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to look at the radiator. So there my hand has not grown massively. This is an incredibly small radiator. It's only got a little 1500cc engine to cool, but it's hardly any wonder that these things struggle a bit. And then while I was poring over it, it's my mate Frank. That's a really old one though, isn't it? 01. Good Lord. That is quite... Who knows when the 01 dialing code changed for London? I can't remember what it changed to. It's 01 and then it went to 071 and 081 and then 0171 and 0181. So yeah, that's a while ago, isn't it? Probably needs a bit of a recall by now, but I'm going to give it a flush through and see where we go to with it. Pigeon feathers and all sorts of shit going on in here. But yeah, Frank, it's one of your ones. Probably his dad, I think, was running the business back then, but never mind. Right, so now it's all out. You can see roughly where we have an issue in here. Now, have I got where's my file? So down here, this looks like it is all filler, and it is all filler. So someone has been creative at some points. It's not a huge issue. What I'll probably end up doing here is I'm going to use the needle file and take it off up to halfway up here. Build up this flange here, build up the flange at the bottom. I don't believe there is a flange on this outside edge. I think that's just a body sealer. I don't know. The key thing is to stop the A post flexing. You can see where it has been flexing because we've got some damage here. And I suspect that's why this hinge was probably taken off and replaced, because this hinge would have done the same thing as the seized up hinge on the left-hand side, on the passenger side. But we could certainly make that better, but without doing a full restoration, because this is not about a full restoration. But we certainly need to be improving this and getting it a bit more usable than this. Right, so there we go. So I've used the belt sander. There's a bit of fluff off the belt sander there, look at that. Belt sander just to kind of tidy up the edges. You can see the bottom lip down there. You can see the lip up the side there. You can also see that the rest of it is actually quite solid in here. And certainly the top edge of the sill is nothing really to be that concerned about. So tiny little square of steel needs to go in there and be butt welded in. And that'll do this. I'll spray a load of zinc rich primer in there first and foremost. And then when we've finished, I shall put the probe in there for the wax for this A post, because I think it's more than salvageable. Certainly the sill is very good in this location compared to what I've seen on other cars, certainly UK restorations. This area is more often than not is completely torn apart. And there goes my phone. Well, the good news is my welding wire arrived, and the even better news is I've welded that patch in there. So it's gone in. I need a bit of seam sealer around the right hand side there just to keep any moisture out. The captive plate still moves around, which is good, and I think just a waft of satin black in there and I can get the hinge back on. Once the hinge is back on, then I can put the door back on. Once the door's back on, then I can put the glass back in. When I get the glass back in, I can put the trim back on. Oh yeah. Right, we can move on with this side. Both hinges on this side were serviceable. No real issues with them. Nice hinges. They do the job. So, just a waft of satin black in there because it will match up with the rest of the stuff I've got on the car. There you go. And before the door goes back together again, I'm going to strip all this silicone off the base here. Because you can see what's happening is the silicone's gone on and it has trapped the moisture in behind it. This is not me doing anything particularly nasty, but this is just me pulling it off for now. And behind it you can see is rust. So once all that's come off, I shall treat the rust and paint. And you can see it's all the way around. It's gone all the way up here. It's not a great idea, folks. It really isn't. Try to avoid this if you can. This is not a seam seal. This might be a PU sealant, I don't know, but it looks more like bathroom sealant to me. I could be completely wrong. I think we can. I mean, this door's been caught way in time, but it wouldn't have been very long, I don't think, on the English roads before this up here had gone all the way through and out the other side. So there you go. And look, just pulling it off with my hands. Any more innuendo, Richard? I don't know. It's really not great. But, like I say, best intentions and all of that, but so much better. Like my school reports. Richard tries hard but could do so much better. And that pretty much is indicative of a previous owner's attempts here to protect this particular panel here from the rigours of rust. And all it's really done is it's trapped moisture against the bare steel underneath. So it's possible that this door may not be original to the car, I don't know. Possible. Oh, and also what we'll do is we'll bung up the drain hole there with silicone. Oh, there's another one up there bunged up. Over here, bunged up with silicone. There you are. We'll bung up the drain hole. Maybe this was Leyland did this. Maybe this was MG did this wherever they built these things, in an effort to get them off the road quickly so they could sell another one. I doubt it somehow. Right, none of this face under here has been properly painted anyway, so I'm going to go over it with the zip wheel and get everything off it. Shouldn't be on there, and then we can get it back together. Quite satisfying work though, to actually save something before it is completely fucked. I'd rather deal with it at this end of the project than further along. You can see all the way up to here. I mean, this fell off along these edges, but even now, I don't know if I can do this, and you can see, not really, because the bench is not big enough, folks. I need a bigger bench, and I need a smaller bench, somewhat paradoxically. Now this is coming off here, but at least it has stuck, and it's probably stuck because it's going on to non-rusty steel, but it's all going to come off anyway. It's not a great idea. No, it's not a grass snake. That's the fuel line off the Midget. Probably about time to change it, really. Some of the lines here were very old and very brittle. And other lines were completely the wrong size. So an 8mm pipe on a 1/4 inch pipe, an 8mm hose on a 1/4 inch pipe, and then that's weird. Anyway, doesn't matter. So when you take the ferrule, ferrule's the right word, off the tail end of the fuel tank, it comes out with this sweated on kind of knobulate. You need to relieve that from the original pipe. I drilled it through using a 6mm drill bit, and then widened it out by hand using a 6.5mm, which is actually then 1/4 inch, and then the 1/4 inch pipe then goes in, and I solder it on. A little bit of plumber's flux and a blowgun, and you can solder that bastard on. Clean up this face here, and I'll probably get away with that. Alternatively, you would probably need to get another ferrule, because this ferrule's too big. So the sleeve is, let's do this scientifically, Richard. Kettle's just boiled. Oh yes. So put the old goblet out. So the sleeve is, let's do it in millimetres, is 8.5mm or thereabouts. Probably going to end up being about 9mm, which is then, let's choose that and then just wheel 11/32. It's not really a size, is it? 3/8. I reckon ultimately it'll be 3/8. So I could get some 3/8 pipe and make the fuel line out of that. And then that ferrule will fit on there. But anyway, it's on now. So I'm going to go and route this back onto the car. And then we'll be done with fuel line. So the fuel line, I think I showed you in an earlier video or earlier in this video, runs from the right hand side of the tank there, and then it routes over the top of the back axle along the chassis and comes over the top of the chassis rail and sits just down there, just about there. And then there's a short flexi line that joins it up with a short steel line that goes over the back of the engine. Short steel line looks serviceable, but I might change it anyway. See, this is interesting. It's 1/4 inch at one end and 3/8 at the other. I only just noticed that. I wonder why that is. Right, so let's balance you here and let's go for the drill gauge. So we've got 1/4 inch, well, within a fart of 1/4 inch. If there wasn't dirt on it, it would be. And then 3/8, no, 5/16, 5/16 at the other. I might use that then. I don't quite understand why. I'd imagine then the 5/16 end will go into the that doesn't make any sense at all. But that would explain then why we've got 8mm pipe here and 6mm pipe there. This is 8mm pipe, isn't it? Yeah, 8mm. 8mm pipe. 5/16. That then, I've got my tripod, folks. That then should go. It does relatively snug into there, so I will reuse this pipe. It will do the job. So it looks like we're going to need some 6mm pipe to connect it up with the main line, and then 8mm pipe to connect it up with the pump for some reason. Pump on these things is mechanical. Bom, 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 bom. And it is right there. And that's probably going to be 8mm, which is why it goes from 6mm to 8mm. Don't know. You tell me. Anyway, the other line that comes off the top there is the one that goes around to the carbs. And I just need really to replace any rubber components on that and leave the rest of it as is. It's fine. I'm not sure I showed the finished door, by the way. That opens a bit easy, doesn't it? Nicely done, Richard. Nicely done. Right, get on with fuel line. And there's fuel line in and secured. I think you can see that. I'm not getting down on the floor to prove it. It's there. And coming up in the engine bay to a new piece of flexible hosing going to the pipe that takes it from 1/4 inch to 5/16, was it 6 to 8mm. And then on this side, I've connected it into the fuel pump here. Now, there's quite a vicious bend on that, and I didn't want the pipe to be collapsing. So what I've done is I've actually put a piece of 6mm 1/4 inch tube down the inside of the 8mm pipe, just to give it some form. I didn't have a suitable spring. Normally I'd use a expansion spring down the inside of the device, but that didn't work in this particular case. Nice big box of goodies, which includes the exhaust manifold, a whole load of heater pipes, gaskets, exhaust downpipe bolts, gaskets, a lot of gaskets in there. Might have gone a bit berserk with the gaskets there. Exhaust manifold, so that lot can all go back in there, because this is the bastard I need. Now, I need to work out how this then fits on to the engine. Those exhaust nuts can go in there as well. Now, there should have been and I'll just take you over to the engine. Put the headlight back on again. Turned headlight off. Right, headlight on. There's a fixing there, look. That needs to go in there and then bolts up to here. Alright, that's pretty much how it needs to go. But I haven't got the fixing that goes in there. What's happened to that? I love it in the box of bits down here. Right, there's the old broken pipe, broken heater, broken T-piece, exhaust manifold. Get grief. I don't know. Inlet manifold. So the bit we're actually missing in here, there it is. That's the bit I need. It's got the olive on the end of it as well. So I need to drill that out, get an olive to go onto that pipe. So I'm not going to be fitting this today. I don't think, unless I've got the olive. I don't think I have. So there's the remains of the old pipe in there with the olive on the outside of it. Now what we could try and do, I guess, is... I'm not clamping it on the thread, folks, before you start going nuts at me. Got the drifts, got the hammer. Let's see if we can't get this out. Might need a drill, I don't know. Right, that's moved. Because I need this big nut, you see. This pipe is absolutely disintegrated inside here. It really is knackered. Now we might need a bit of heat in here, I think. But it needs to come out, like I say. And rather than me knackering up one of my big drill bits, right, so I've managed to peen it over and in. Now, will it come out? No. No is the answer there. No, it's not going to come out. Bigger drift, I believe. A bigger drift. There it goes. Remains of old pipe out. Looks like a standard plumbing fixing, doesn't it? Right, let's give this a quick clean out, because then it should just be a case of, because I don't need to solder or anything, I just need to put an olive on the end of here. That goes on there. It's going to go on there. It's on. Right, okay, so that's on. Tight. Ham-fisted gibbon. There we are. That's fine. Right, now I need to get next an olive, and I think this is going to be a... I've probably got a box of these at home. It looks like a standard plumbing olive, which I'm probably not going to have here, I don't think. Let's go to metric. Let's go to imperial. Half an inch. Half-inch olive. There's no point reusing an olive, folks. These are pennies. Like that, then, because I want to go into there, and it lines up beautifully then with the bolt hole on the back end of the manifold. So that's going to work nicely. Just need an olive, which is good. We can work with that. Absolutely can. And then that can go in. Right, other things I need to do here. There's no point me doing it yet because I need that pipe on first. But I'm going to need to refit the exhaust and other odds and sods. But there is one job I probably could do now, and that's to see what the carbs are doing. So we'll work with the carbs one at a time. There's the inlet manifold. Go in there. One carb. These are tiny little chappies, aren't they?